Hello, people. How's it going? You see my new cup? Woohoo! The highlight of the video. Woohoo! Told you I was getting another one. Anyway, this video may not take that long because I really didn't get a lot of reading done this week. It's been one of those weeks. It's been one of those months where it's just productivity has been a little down. But what are you gonna do? I have a life. I live a life. I have things to do other than what I want to do. But anyway, mostly one, you have to like a job, and I work at FedEx. That when it's slow and nothing is happening, let me sit there and read. You gotta like a job that doesn't mind it when I'm just sitting there or standing, reading, waiting for something to come down either belt. Which is what I do a lot of. Not every day, but mostly Fridays and Saturdays I get a lot of reading done at work. I'm paid to read. How about you? Anyway, I'm almost done with this book. I can't tell if you can see the reflection. It's crazy. This is a good book. It is short, as I said. It's a lot of science in this book. A lot of science. A lot of interesting science. The biology of the nervous system, the eye structure, its habitat. It also talks about the octopus, by the way, which is another reason I like this book. I'm almost done. I will do a book review on my blog site for the book at some point. But I would read this book because it is short. It is kind of fun. She goes all over the place. I know it's kind of meanders all over the place, but the meandering works. And it's interesting. It's very scientifically well written. I enjoy it. It's even historically well written. I liked it. It's not raining finally. It's been off and on raining since what? April? It's been a wet spring and summer. But anyway, I love squid. I'm sorry. Cephalopods have fascinated me since almost day one, and if I can get that glare out of here, I would. But anyway. Okay, there you go. There you go. It's a good book. Anyway, yeah. I'm almost done. It talks about the Architeuthis. It talks about the Pacific octopus. It talks about their biology, their nomenclature, their. If you want to know things about a squid that you didn't think you really wanted to know, but you end up finding out you do want to know, this is the book. Yeah, this is the book. I brought that one today to work. I'm slowly plodding through this one about the rescuing of the Lipizan stallions after the Second World War. I'm finally up to where Hank Reed is. And there's a lot of information right now on the Hank Reed character who eventually asks General Patton, "Can I go rescue the stallions?" He says, "Sure, go ahead. Why not?" This is a good book. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's a sad book, only because of what happens to most of the stallions. And what happens to just they're beautiful creatures, and just certain people group, Russians, just mistreated these poor horses into the ground. And the Germans weren't any better, but believe me. But I'm up to the part where he's going to. At the moment, he's telling us biographical information about the cavalry and in American history, and how it eventually was, retired and the mechanized force took over. I'm not even halfway done yet because I took a respite from reading this for a couple of weeks. I had other books that I bought that I had to read. I didn't have to read them, but that's what happens. When I buy new books, all of a sudden the book, my nice book table here, all of a sudden disappears, and the books I bought have to be read. Explains this one, because that's what happened with that one. But this is a good book. My mom liked it. It is sad. I mean, it does talk about what happens to the horses, the rescuing of the horses. I haven't got up to that part yet. I'm still up to the part where oddly enough, March 20th, 1944, my birthday, except for the year. But he's on his way. Is he a lieutenant colonel or general? I think he's a lieutenant colonel at this point, or general. Let me see real fast if it tells me. Colonel Hank Reed. He's on his way to Europe. The war isn't over yet in this book. I'm into this part yet, but it will be. I'll put this away somewhere else. I'll probably talk about this when I do my review on the new books for the new home library. But I started reading this one again. I'm reading this one. I used to watch his show in the 70s as a kid with me and my mom, Jacques Cousteau. He's an interesting guy. This was an interesting book. And this book just like the one about the squid, will tell you everything you wanted to know but didn't know you wanted to know about diving, the biology and the physiology of what happens when you go diving, chemistry, what the bends are. It'll tell you all you want to know about nitrogen, oxygen, and everything else that goes into diving. He's an interesting guy. It's a good book, but it's not very long. It's not very long at all, actually. He was an interesting guy. When I was a kid, I used to watch his show, The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau. I have his book on octopus and squid. But at the moment, it's a little time after the war, which he kind of serves but doesn't. I mean, he does a little spying, sort of. You have to read the book, I'm sorry. He does receive the Legion of Honor medal from the French government after the war. You read this book and you realize, while World War II is going on, he's diving. He's learning. He's developing the aqua lung. He's diving. He's exploring. And at the moment, World War II is still going on. I'm thinking that might be the only drawback of this book, because you don't get an idea there's a war happening. You do get an idea what he's doing, but you don't get an idea there's a war going on all around him. But he's an interesting guy. I really didn't read a whole lot in the last few weeks, actually. Sadly. See anything that I could briefly talk about. And that was it. I mean, since the last video, that's kind of all I've been reading in those few books. I keep trying to. I have other books up here that I bought that I'll do a video on the new home library. But anyway, but yes, I would recommend these books. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't recommend them. But yeah, the one on the octopus is probably, the squid is probably the most interesting one, because I have a thing for cephalopods. As I've already shown a few times, I have some models of cephalopods in here. But yeah, I have a tendency that when I buy a new book, all my other books sort of disappear into the morass until I'm done reading the new ones, and eventually get back to the old ones. But then I buy new ones, and then I eventually get to the old. You get the idea. I'm nuts. What do you want from me? Sent my friend Lydia a cup. She's also a historian kid, 17, but I've known her since she was 9. And she's been into history since then, so it's one reason why we get along. I sent her that for her birthday. I sent her that this kind of mug for her birthday with that writing on it. But the 3 books I mentioned, I try to think if I've read anything else briefly that I can. Oh, right in front of me. I did start reading this, only because I just got done watching the King's Speech. I have read part of this book. I'm finished it. I stopped reading it because I'm already behind everything else. So I'll get to this once I'm done with a few other. Once I get rid of a few of these other books and these, the table is all just going to fall over. This is King George, of course, the 6th of the King's Speech. It's not a bad book, though, of what I've read so far. But anyway, this is going to be a very short video as I'm about to end it, because I haven't done a whole lot of reading other than those few books. So, if you think anyone would be interested, share, like, subscribe, comment. Let them know. Thank you for watching. Behave yourselves, people, because I'm not going to. I don't know how. I am going to try to do another video after this one in about 30 odd minutes. Somewhere around there. Later.